Hello, I'm Zachary Mead, and this is my presentation on the association of air pollution and exposure with psychiatric experience during adolescence. So a little about this study. The purpose of this study was to find if air exposure to air pollution is associated with adolescent psychiatric experiences. This study was done in an attempt to find a significant association between the outdoor exposure to nitrogen dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and um, particle matter from pollution and compared to the reports of psychiatric experiences during adolescence. They did this. To do this, they examined the association between urban residency and adolescent psychiatric experiences, which partially explained by the higher levels of outdoor air pollution in urban settings. So they looked at two different things, urbanicity, which was a well-established risk factor for clinical diseases, I guess, such as schizophrenia, and subclinical. Other stuff is such as hearing voices, paranoia, expressions of psychosis that are related to schizophrenia and other diseases. This whole study was done to examine the association between the exposure of air pollutants and adolescent psychiatric experiences and to test whether exposure mediates the association between urban residency and adolescent psychiatric experiences. So a little bit into the data and methodology. The environmental risk longitudinal scale of twin study of 2,232 children born between 1994 and 1995 in England, in Wales, and they followed them up from birth up to age 18. So this was a study that just represented mostly UK households. The original amount of participants, 92.6% of people asked participated in the assessments up to 18 years of age. Of those, 99.9% provided data on psychotic experiences. So high resolution analyzed an estimate of exposure to 4 air pollutants. The two big ones were nitrogen dioxide and nitrogen oxide. Other stuff included particle matter of aerodynamic diameters less than 2.5 parts per million. And then they also did one on 10 billion parts, but that really wasn't analyzed during this, even though they did measure for it. A little bit more in this. So of this, among the 2,063 participants who completed this study, it was evenly distributed for sex, which was 30.2%. At least one had one psychiatric experience between 12 and 18 years of age. Psychiatric experiences were significantly more common in adolescence, with the highest level of annual exposure to the top quartile. Of this, nitrogen oxide between like 1.2 and 2.2%, and this nitrogen oxides in general 1.3 to 2.2. I'm a little bit more into this. Nitrogen dioxide and nitrogen oxide statistically explains 60% of the association between urbanicity and adolescent psychiatric experiences. There was no evidence of co-founding variables in this study. However, in this study, air pollutants exposure, particularly nitrogen dioxide, nitrogen oxide in general, was associated with increased odds of adolescent psychiatric experiences, which we've already gone over, which partially explained the association between urban residency and adolescent psychiatric experiences. In the future, this can be used for other clinical diagnoses, and global society of air pollution is not decreasing, and psychiatric experiences and illnesses are also on the rise. So this also then begs the question, what more needs to be done, and if this needs to be researched more for different effects with different air pollutants. This is my reference. Thank you very much for listening.